Well, good afternoon, everyone. If you're on, I'm going to ask that you do share the live. This is your weekly show with myself and Johnny, the MoJo Show, coming to you live from New York City. As you can see today, I'm wearing my t-shirt that says I can't breathe. Of course, I was out today marching with our community, with our Caribbean community, our Congresswoman Yvette Clark, Councilmember Farah Lewis, Josh Pierre, candidate for the 40th district, and Edu Hamlin for the 43rd. And we were all out there with the entire community saying we can't breathe and we're looking for justice. And this has been going on, of course, in a lot of cities, a lot of states, countries. It is rather a historical event, and no one wants to miss out on this piece of history where we all get to have our voices heard. And we're glad that our politicians are on board with us in ensuring that what's been going on for the past 400 years come to an end. If not my generation, but at least the generation that comes after me get to breathe. So I'm walking today so my children can breathe, so your sons can breathe, so Betty's son can breathe, so her husband can breathe, so all of us can breathe for that matter. Et pour vous amener nous, il que nous dit que je dis assez, je nous tape marché. Nous, depuis le matin, nous te pris la rue dans Brooklyn, côté que nous avons demandé justice. Et nous connaissons depuis des jours, ça fait la une sur les réseaux sociaux, sur les radios, télévision, tout côté. La mort de George Floyd, qui est censé yon alarme qui sonne très fort, côté que semaine ça a été finalement George Floyd. Et nous, tout le pays a levé, campé, n'a dit pas qu'à respirer. Ayo que mettez jodi a marqué I can't breathe et en bas il marqué Black Lives Matter. Oui, la vie nous-mêmes qui nous a matter. Qui raison, c'est parce que et nous trouvons dans une situation côté que n'a dit la fait face à des gens qui pas de sens de gratitude, des gens qui pensent que par contre l'histoire, que par contre c'est nous-mêmes noirs esclaves qui étaient bâti ça y a marché sur lui dans la journée aujourd'hui. Et nous avons chance pour nous rencontrer avec différents politiciens aujourd'hui, côté que non seulement nous avons un dialogue ensemble avec eux pour nous dire et travail que nous devons peser gaz plus. Nous devons ajouter plus de pression à Washington, plus de pression dans le Congrès, plus de pression dans le state Albanie, nous-mêmes, pour nous-mêmes qui nous là. Nous garder que c'est une campagne côté que le monde a campé ensemble avec nous. Et a dit yo pas qu'à respirer. Eh bien, nous voulons que petit garçon yo capable de respirer. Moi-même étant que maman un petit garçon, tout le monde connaît moi un petit garçon, pas besoin de dire encore, mais et pour petit garçon de tia qu'à respirer, pour mari petit qu'à respirer, pour frère yo qu'à respirer, nous tous ensemble, étudiants yo capable de respirer. Eh bien, et après-midi, nous comptons pour nous rejoindre avec et des soldats encore qui chita sur plateforme de concert avec moi-même avec Johnny et nous parler de et avec les femmes d'abord pour les présenter mesdames yo avant et moi on fait voyant les voyants et moi je vais parler de Betty Augustin Aristide qui a fait un super travail avec jeunes yo et il y a organisation et des youth et moi content tout le monde comme j'aime qui vient ensemble avec les. Je voulais parler de Nadine Simon, qui c'est une businesswoman dans la communauté, qui campait beaucoup de Betty, tout petit Betty, ma chère. Moi, je fais un très bel travail. Eh bien, il faut que je me rejoigne avec notre travail, ça, pour capable faire la route. Et moi, saluer Betty très chaudement, et parce que c'est un soeur que moi-même, j'apprécie un peu. Et du côté de la Californie, une autre femme qui voyant encore à rejoindre avec moi, une femme ça leur m'a parlé de lui, toute femme de toute raison, c'est une qui, et même gens avec moi qui sorti, qui fait en Haïti, et nous connaissons ça que les douleurs immigrants, nous connaissons ça que les, lorsqu'on vient ici, Ou son immigrant, ki humiliation, ki dérespect kon pa ke yo démontre a yo men. Et nous c'est yon kap goumen, ça fait plus de 10 ans la goumen, si la yo ki pa gen papier dans le pays, si la yo ki traverse des routes dangereuses pour capable arriver sur le sol, eh bien, nous peut parler et de sœur moi, et comment moi dire encore que nous apprécions, nous aimons Berlin Joseph, du côté de la Californie qui retourne à nous-mêmes. Et au dernier lieu, nous disons les femmes d'abord, nous oublions de présenter et Zanoun, après femme dans Brooklyn. Bon, et collègue dans l'éducation, c'est professeur Hadi Benoît, c'est un owner, un propriétaire de quartier restaurant, un plus bel restaurant nous capable de dire dans Brooklyn qui est très propre, très éloquent également et welcoming pour l'autre agonisme. Pour ça, moi, je cherche un côté pour mener nous, on fait, et quel que soit ça, on est capable de gagner, quel que soit event, on va pas capable de le faire, et donc, on amène dans le quartier restaurant. Avant que nous continuions avec l'émission, nous voulons 30 secondes, comme nous toujours habitués faire chaque semaine, pour nous capables de payer respect à ceux qui dévancent nous, aller l'autre bon monde là, joindre nous, et bien nous voulons prendre 30 minutes de seconde, puisque nous connaissons la période Covid, c'est une période qui réellement et fait un peu de crier, mais nous prenons dans une journée à nous-mêmes, côté de MoJo, nous voulons dire famille ça avec eux parce que nous voulons dire que senti peine, nous senti douleur, et que c'est pour ça nous devons 30 secondes de respect à ceux qui dénoncent. Merci encore une fois, on a demandé ou même qui a écouté l'émission, ça tant pris, partager live là, c'est MoJo qui vient rejoindre ou même live, et moi, je voulais chef à Johnny pour saluer le public là, allô Johnny.
Bonsoir Mona Lisa, et c'est un gros plaisir et pour moi rejoindre encore sur MoJo Show, je pas prendre le temps comme on connaît même gens avec vous, nous dans match là où je dis à me pas habillé même gens et même gens avec vous donc je salue tout le monde, je salue invité nous et puis je voulais pour nous en auto lancer.
D'accord, d'accord. Eh bien, nous connaissons que dans la journée aujourd'hui, il y a pile de jeunes qui étaient réellement affectés. Et pendant la période Covid, là, il y a pile de jeunes qui perdu maman, il y a d'autres qui perdu papa, il y a d'autres qui devaient chercher, ils ont perdu, grand-mère qui devaient chercher, ils ont perdu. Et c'est comme ça fait quelques jours. Et nous engager dans notre travail pour nous capables de travailler avec jeunes. Moi, il y a un WhatsApp et qui y a une cinquantaine de jeunes là-dedans, côté de par téléphone, nous faisons avec nous, par téléphone, nous voulons des liens pour être capable d'aller sur le grand groupe pour y aller manger. Et c'est pas moi-même seul qui a fait ce genre de travail, ça. Je dis à ça fait mon pile plaisir, ça fait que je suis content pile du fait que le travail, ça ne pas seul là-dedans. Eh bien, moi, il y a deux femmes là qui, ensemble avec moi, comme moi, dit nous déjà, et nous allons demander vous capable de présenter cette chose. Dit qui est, je vais commencer avec vous d'abord, et puis, n'a pas, ou mettre Nadine et Marie pour capable de présenter cette partout. Betty, bonsoir.
Bonsoir, bonsoir Mona Lisa, bonsoir Johnny, and thank you so much for inviting me to the show. And thank you for going out this morning. A lot of people don't know, but you are doing the work much. So my name is Betty Aristide Augustine. To introduce myself, I would say that I'm a God-fearing woman who enjoys serving the community. I was born in Haiti and migrated here in the U.S. at the age of 13. So you can imagine at 13 years old, there's a culture shock. Growing up in this country was not easy at all for me. And I faced a lot of difficulties, and one of them was going to foster care. Through all, God was with me, and my difficulty fuels my passion, loving the youth, doing things for the young adults, and empowering and impacting them.
Thank you so much, Betty, for that introduction. And Nadine, I'm my dear sister who was with me on the Sisterhood show the other day with ANS. It's a pleasure to have you once again. It's a pleasure to share the platform with you once again this afternoon. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mona Lisa. Good afternoon, Johnny. Good afternoon, the MoJo Show and everyone, the audience. And Betty, hi. How are you? We spoke three times today. So thank you again. My name is Nadine Morency Moss. I'm sorry, I'm not speaking Creole or French. I understand it well more than I can speak it. My name is Nadine
It's
Morency
okay.
Moss. I'm the broker and owner of J More Realty. I started my own company in 2012. I've been in real estate since 2005. I've been in sales since 2001. I started real estate because I saw I saw the disparity between ownership and non-ownership. My mother and I grew up in a one-bedroom apartment, and my father owned, both parents migrated from Haiti. My father, he believed in home ownership. Believed in building wealth. My father acquired, I think, about three or four homes in less than 10 years that he was here in the States. And I saw the difference between my mom and my dad. And I pursued home ownership. I pursued real estate because I was able to look at my father as a role model and see the power of ownership. And hence the reason why I am in real estate.
Wow, wonderful. You know what? I think I can definitely connect you with some of our youth in expressing the need to have an internship this summer in that field. And
Definitely.
please be ready to open your doors to pass on the knowledge that you have to these young people. And I'm sure you'll be more than happy to do that. Once that
I
order
would
has
love
been
to.
given, I know how you guys roll. We're all on the same page. So I have no doubt that you'll be ready to embrace that task. So I'm going to get back to you, Betty. Betty, please tell us more about your organization. What is the mission and the vision of your organization?
I'm not able to hear Betty. Can you hear her?
Yeah, no, I can't. Betty,
Oh,
we
okay.
I
can't hear
can't.
you.
We can't hear you.
Chancy,
Okay, now we
Okay,
Okay,
can hear
we
now
you.
we
hear you
got
now,
you.
Betty.
I
We
think,
got you, Betty.
okay,
I,
great. Thank you. So, in the youth, our mission is we enable youth to acquire skill set. So basically through trainings, and the focus is we focus on self-awareness, self-improvement, and just acknowledging where they are. So the question I would really come out with 80 youth is, how do we raise leaders of tomorrow? That's our focus through workshop, through trainings, and our goal is to have sustainable youth that are in the job market, that are mentally ready for the different for today's now.
Wonderful. So I'm sure you're very familiar with the Common Core state standards, Betty, whereby the Common Core believes in preparing our students for college and career. So college and career readiness is at the heart of of teaching and learning in our days. And I'm always proud, although some people are not too fond of the Common Core, but as one of the writers of those standards, I'm always proud to talk about Common Core because I find teaching without Common Core is like a waste of time and energy, or a waste of time in the classroom if you don't incorporate those Common Core standards into your teaching practices because of what they stand for. Like I said, it's college and career readiness, the ability for students to think out of the box, the ability for them to use hot skills which are higher order of skills. So, Nadine, how do you see yourself in that mission that Betty just shared with us? How do you actually believe in that mission? Is that what propels you to work with Betty? And how do you plan on incorporating that college and career readiness that we're talking about into your personal career?
Well, so I just want to share something with you. Tomorrow, Betty and we organize an event. It's called Bridging the Gap for the Youth. And we're having this event tomorrow as well as the following Monday on June 22nd. The one tomorrow is in Roy Wilkins Park from 3 to 5. and the one on the 22nd is at the Brooklyn Commons, which thank you so much. I was informed that you were you were an asset to helping us secure the place. Thank you so much. And to respond to everything that's happening right now with COVID-19, remember, our children have been in quarantine since March. And now, last week, Mayor de Blasio made an announcement that he's eliminating the summer youth employment program from the budget. Hence, the youth ages 14 to 24 will not have access to employment opportunities for this summer. Now, that was very disturbing and alarming to me, and I'm pretty sure to many other parents as well, because we have over 75,000 New York City students who will not be placed in an employment opportunity or an internship. So Betty and I both kicked into action last week, actually Friday of last week, and we went into action. And under a week, we planned 2 events to raise awareness, to fundraise for stipend opportunities, because we reached out to community businesses who would be more than willing and open to internships, whether paid or unpaid, and to help the youth, give them life skills and opportunities that they otherwise would have received had COVID-19 not occurred. So we are bridging that gap and connecting our youth with employment opportunities, internship opportunities, and access to resources so they don't go through the summer perpetuating the same cycle that we're seeing by being in the streets and, unfortunately, with police brutality. We want to eliminate that. And one of the ways that we have to do it is by keeping our kids engaged.
Correct.
If I could just make
Absolutely. Go ahead, Johnny.
No, Marisa, I just wanted to, this is a very important topic, and I think to tie it with what's happening today, which a lot of people sometimes miss, is that when people are talking about, or in the streets and talking about reducing the budget of the police department, which is $6 billion, that's with a B, and taking some of that money and putting it into the community, and part of that money putting it specifically towards youth employment, specifically what you two are talking about, ensuring that young people who are now, out of school can actually have opportunities to have summer internship. And we know all the studies have shown us, right, that young people who participate in these kinds of internship are better prepared, right, to enter the workforce. So we know this is proven, right? And so, and conversely, on the other side, when you have young people and, what they say, idle hands, right, who have nothing to do, we know what's going to happen with all of that energy. And so, while we're not necessarily talking politics here, I just wanted people to understand the tie-in between the demands that are being made today, the work that you guys are doing, and the importance of that work for our young people. Because how many young people you've heard who went to presidential summer internships, and those are the internships that propel them, right? And I'm a big proponent for paid internship, but even unpaid is important, right? But I'm a big proponent for paid internship. And so, in as much as we can put resources into our communities, that's what it means. And I really appreciate the work that you're doing. So it's not a question. I just wanted to kind of really say thank you for what you're doing, because it is so important for the young people, not just to make sure that they don't get into any kind of trouble, but really to prepare them for the future.
Yes, amen. Thank you.
And also,
Thank you so much, Johnny, for those comments.
I also wanted to add, so AD Youth was founded after the earthquake from a mission trip with Barack Obama. And through that, we have many programs. One of the programs that I work very closely with, where Nadine comes of very great value, is our EYP program, which means empowering young people. the empowering young people, we have entrepreneurship, we have sewing, interview process, forced interview, and also the culinary classes. We have it also in Haiti. We're not just here in the U.S., but we are also in Haiti doing 3 vocational classes for, and with those vocational classes, they're getting certificates for sewing, art decoration, and culinary. And also we do Microsoft Soft. Doing now COVID, we also speaking to our youth online. We on Zoom, just like we having a talk show now, help them understand what they're going through. And also doing mental illness. We have our counselors that log in and speak to them and let them know what are your feelings now. Even with not only, we know that we are facing 2 pandemics, it's just not just one. Not only we are educating our program, but also being aware of what we're facing now. How do you feel as a Black mother, as a Black man, as a Black boy? How do you feel? So we are also providing that platform for our youth to come out and share and to help them build themselves even more.
Right.
Betty, please tell me some of the challenges that you've had with your program, because as one who's in the same field, trust me, I know it can be very challenging. And please share those challenges with us.
One of the challenges that we face, that mental illness happened to be a stigma, especially in our Caribbean household. And when we have youth that are ready, that needs a help, that are stating that I'm depressed, and we need to link them to counseling. So now mom or dad, if they're underage, because we do serve 14 to 21. So the underage one, the 18 one, we are more able to link them to counselors to get the help that is needed. But the underage one, we do have the parents that give some challenges. But after communication, having the counselors to talk to them, a lot of time it goes through. That's one of our challenge. And a side note, the director we have in Haiti died yesterday. Judge Mimos Javier. I met her through the mission trip again. It's her, Judge Mimos Javier, and Pastor Javier, who's also in charge of the youth program in Haiti. We lost a leader. Nou pedi yon maman, nou pedi yon poto mitan. Ou konen lò gon kay, gon poto ki kembe kay lan solide. Sa nou pedi. I'm sorry. Going to Haiti and her through all our events, even with back to school drive, we were able to serve over 1,000 of students.
Yes, sister.
I'm sorry, Betty. I can understand. I
It's
definitely
tough.
understand. I
Yes.
definitely understand. But
Yes,
just remember, you have Nadine, you have me,
yes, I
you have
do.
Elsie Axilien, which I know is a very great supporter of your
Yes,
organization. You have Farah Lewis,
yes.
you have the MoJo show, you have Johnny, you have all of us. So
Thank
you're not
you.
on this road alone. I
Right.
know what it's like to lose, a great member. You have Hadley, for that matter. You know Hadley from Cachet.
Yes,
And I'm going to transition in a few minutes, because it's we're pretty much at the end of your segment, and Johnny's going to take over. But Hadley has also been one of the people that has been very supportive of our youth, because not only he's an educator, he's also a businessman. And trust me, a lot of our students in the community during this COVID period, when they were hungry, trust me, without a doubt, I called Cache. I said, "Listen, I need my children to be fed," and he was one of the people who actually stood with me. That is why this Saturday coming on the 20th, I'm inviting your youth to merge with our youth, because we're all one people, one community. There's no my youth or your youth. It's our youth. This is our village. And as mothers, we're not going to be selfish. We share resources. We love each other. Trust me. Just be strong and stand strong by the love that you know that you're going to get from a community of people who understand the work that you do, who understand your passion, your vision as a leader. Okay. And you are appreciated. And this past April, you are going to be honored by Leoness Marquardt, because you're a quiet storm, because you're not a flashy woman. And I've known you for years. And it takes people like Nadine to make you come out of your shell. It takes people like Elsie who are, and as women, you know what it is? I appreciate the sisterhood.
Yeah.
Women are always petty. That's little. I don't call them women. I call them little girls. But those of us who are strong women, we know it's
Right.
not about us. It's not about our title. It's not about our pride. It's not about our looks. Okay, it's about getting the work done. It's about children. It's about building a legacy. And I'm here for you to help you build that legacy. Nadine is here for you to help you. ANS is here for you to help you build that legacy. So, on that note, I'm going to ask you both for your final words so we can transition to the other half of the show with Johnny and Hadley for his segment.
Okay, so we encourage your parents to come out tomorrow. Please RSVP and also visit our website for your youth to get the benefit of our program. It's www.adayouth.org. And not only tomorrow, but also next week on the 22nd, we'll be in Brooklyn.
And
Wonderful. Nadine?
yes, and thank you so much again for this opportunity. Tomorrow is going to be amazing. We're in talks with so many companies, organizations. We are really, this is not about just coming out to this event. This is about leaving this event with opportunities. So if you want access to certain things, you have to go out and get it. And it will be there at this event tomorrow as well as on the 22nd.
So I just want to let you guys know, ladies, know that definitely as one of your partners, and MoJo definitely is here to help support your work. We will be posting the flyer again on our page. It's going to be on my page. You guys know it gets distributed on WhatsApp, and my youth will also be there to take advantage of what you guys have to offer.
We look
Thank you
forward
so
to
much for
seeing
what
them.
you do. Yes,
And we
indeed.
want to
Please
thank you both.
Stick around. Stick around for our other two guests because they were here to support you guys. Towards the end, you'll bring final greetings. So Johnny, I'm gonna slide over the ladies over so we can bring our next two guests. And
Well, right now we have Adley who's been patiently waiting. So
indeed,
I am going to bring him on, and there he is. There he is.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Professor Benoit, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Like to say, Saturday to Mona, Johnny, Betty, Nadine. I'm bring, the past half hour. I was also trying to figure out my internet connection. This technology stuff, it works exactly when you don't need it. So
Yeah, yeah. You have just a little bit of a you have just a little bit of buffering, and it breaks up a little bit, but we're gonna try to work with it.
okay, great.
Um, well, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time today to come on the show. Mona and I are very appreciative of that. And bon, n'a fait le créole anglais, mais c'est vraiment une grosse opportunité. Nous comptons en pile pour nous voir aujourd'hui, hein. Et nous t'avons aimé que peut-être introduire tout à l'audience pour connaître qui est professeur Adlier et qui l'autre activité qu'on fait.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm actually co-owner of Cafe Restaurant. Haitian restaurant that we have 2192 Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn. We recently opened about a year now. Mona has been one of our biggest supporters, and I'd like to say over for that. And the other hat I wear is actually I do work as a college professor. I work at a career college teaching business and it's kind of interesting because I spent the first hour listening to A Day Youth and they were talking that they do helping the youth and you came up, Johnny, and the first thing you started to describe the whole concept of idle mind and how it's important to keep children engaged so that they don't end up at a certain place in life, especially children of color that don't have the same advantages that are not treated fairly and given the same opportunity as other people. And find answers to a lot of what I do. I don't at such an early age. I work with basically students at the later stage. I work with students that have sometime aged out of high. I work with students that actually come into my program because it's an alternative of the criminal justice system for going to jail. You understand? So I oftentimes end up working with a population at that last step and try to, intervene at that last step before we finally lose. So it was quite interesting to hear the angle that we're talking about with A Day Youth and what they're doing with the young children and how it balances with what I'm doing at a career college, trying to get people back on track. And
Great. Well, our topic that we wanted to touch base with you on today is specifically around the financial and psychological effects or after effects, I guess, of COVID. Although we're still in the middle of it, but it feels like we're coming out of it, but we're really in it. We'll start with the psychological aspect before we touch the financial. As a business owner and as a college professor. Um, how, from your perspective, do you see this pandemic affecting our community from a psychological perspective in terms of how people view themselves in the context of this particular pandemic? What are the things that you've seen? Not as a psychologist, but as someone who's sort of as an observer, both business and professor.
well, it's just the level of fear. I mean, the level of fear, all the deaths. How many people don't know? Five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 people, and what the repercussions are, what the effect is in the family. And then when things like that, happen, you look at yourself in terms, right? You look at your family, you look at your kids, you look at your parents, and what do you do? And how do you move forward with that? Because this is a situation that came about the pandemic. It's not a bomb that dropped on us. It's something that, still until now, we're getting different explanations onto, about what has happened. So if you know exactly what it is, you know exactly how to position yourself to deal with it. But what do you do when you don't know what it is? What do you do when you're getting different messages? So I
Right.
I think it puts people in a state of confusion, psychologically. Are we going out in public when they say we can go out in public? You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
but one thing I have to notice is that it seems that with the current events, fighting social injustice seems to have taken a priority over the precautions of being safe in a pandemic. So
Well, I think it's an interesting point that you raise, and as someone who's been out there, um, um, uh, very regularly going to protests, all kinds of different protests, it is something that weighs heavily on me. But I think the fight for justice sometimes demands sacrifices,
exactly.
and it demands overcoming your fears. And so I do think a lot about it. And in fact, when I first went out there, my friends who saw me, and I used to have double mask, and they were like, "Brother, how can you breathe?" Right? And I'm like, "Look, I have to have a couple of masks just to make sure, that I take all the protection possible." But at the end of the day, I think, a lot of people out there have said it best, and I'm not in their situation. There are people who are much worse off than I am, who weighs the sort of, well, I could die of COVID or I could die of police, and many of them make that judgment and say, it's much more likely that I could die from the police than from COVID. So I'll go and protest, which is kind of wow, right? In terms of how they see their lives and how their lives are valued, right? And so I think there are things that push us outside of our comfort, outside of our fears. And as a business person who has a business that deals with the public, of course, there are laws that regulates whether you can open or not. But how have you, and we'll switch over to the financial side of it, but how have you and your partners been able to kind of negotiate that space in terms of, are you open? Do you, you know,
I mean, we're
delivery?
us to operate in the guidelines and the rate available to us. Right now, our business is restaurants do takeout and delivery. We have 4,000 square feet of space, but yet we're using it to takeout and delivery. But the same level of support we got when we first opened up, it seems that level of support is still there, helping us days, doing takeout and delivery. And thank you again, thank you again, to all support us, because it seems that they're continuing to support us despite the difficulties.
And has the Haitian community responded? I mean, do you have a very diverse clientele, or is it primarily Haitian?
I, I'd like to say that our clientele is primarily Asian and primarily, geographically based around, right because of the takeout situation, delivery situation, within I'd say 5 to 10 mile radius of where that's the business now. Whereas previously, from all of the New York tri-state area to come and see what we were offering. But
Right.
it's every day it's increasing more and more.
Yeah. And from a financial perspective, obviously, I mean, we've done a number of shows, we've had a number of guests here on uh, when COVID first hit to talk about the many uh, um, different sort of packages that the government has put in place to help businesses. How has Cache navigated that space? How have you been able to navigate that as a business?
Well, we've reached out and we've taken of what it is that different agencies have gotten. Some responded positively, some have. You hear about a lot of programs, and then 2 days funding is gone. So, we've been in a situation, but uh, I think the PPP program turned out positive. The EIDL program turned out to be positive. So, we are taking advantage of the government programs that are, on the federal side. The stuff in New York really can't. It seems to be just a lot of notices, but time will tell. I mean, we as a business have to. The government wasn't ready for this. You understand?
Yeah,
Federal government response is obvious that the government wasn't ready for this. So even when they come out, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Yes, aren't in place to do it as fast as you would like them to do it. So
right.
you just have to do what you have to do, and also do your part. We're not up to the government to start business running.
Yeah,
We're gonna take advantage and reach out, but at the end of the day, we have to do our we have to reach out to the community. We have to service. We have to make sure still want to support you.
yeah. Have you
Johnny, I
have you?
have a question.
Go for it.
I'm sorry, Johnny. So, Hadley, first, allow me to thank you for your sense of fatherhood, your sense of community when there's a crisis. And we realize the loss that your organization, your business has suffered, but yet you found it in your heart to be helpful to our young people. And usually when those things happen, it makes me wonder, why would someone who's already struggling with a business be ready to lend a helping hand to the lesser fortunate? So please tell us what propelled you to do that.
Because what that is because if I can open, somebody out there is in a worse position. You understand? If I have the strength and I have the ability to get up and open my doors and offer my service, then somebody out there is doing much worse than me, right? So I've always been of the understanding you have to get, you have to help, you have to give back. I we I came from very, so if I can do this today, it's because a lot of people provided me opportunity. A lot of people opened doors for me. A lot of people did things for me that they didn't have to do. So sometimes you have to look into yourself when things are going very, very bad. Sometimes the best thing to do is to go out and help somebody else that's doing work.
Mte vle di sa an kreol tout pou paran haisyen yo e pou etudyan haisyen kap gade yo, se ke pandan peryode Covid lan, e kache restoran mvle di, e hadli spesifikman kom yon zami, yon konfrère a mwen men nan edukasyon, te ouvri pot restoran sa, loske mte gen ti moun ki gran gou, ebyen mte voye ti moun sa yo libreman, e pot kache te ouvre, ti moun sa yo te manje, vante de boutonnen. Il gen nan ti moun yo ki te jwen delivri, et jusqu'à date, parents yo pas connaît côté ti moun sa yo te manger pour manger, mais quand même yo manger. Et c'est l'une des raisons pour laquelle Johnny m capable dit nous voulons que communauté pa nou an réaliser que développement économique n'a cherché à développement sustainability n'a cherché là nous dans business c'est lorsque nous yon capable supporter l'autre. Parce que li réellement important. Lorsque nous gon business, nous yon frère nous, yon haïtien pareil nous gen business et pour nous capable supporter yon l'autre. Et c'est comme ça nan ba yon l'autre j'arrête, nous capable dire pied bœuf n'a prendre kay pratique. Alors adli temps pour édification parents ça yo, expliquer yo, exprimer yo comme nous dit et qui raison qu'il faut te faire ça pour ti moun sa yo parce que c'est pas petit pour yo mais dans journée jodi a ou t'es conscient assez pour te supporter communauté haïtienne qui a supporté caché tout étant que business haïtien.
My call is not as elaborate and in-depth.
Dégage, frère.
Dégage, bah, ils sont capables.
M'pense ou expliquer aussi bien assez pour moi.
En tout cas, non, tout parents ça nous voulons dire merci, nous dit Robinson merci, nous dit et tout partenaire yo merci. Ouais dans caché restaurant, c'est pour ça samedi 20 cap vini là, et bien nous pral bay remise de cadeaux à jeunes étudiants surtout si là qui gradué, ouais en pile nan ti moun sa yo nous qui nous te réellement struggle avec yo ou même tout t'es toujours ton et la main non seulement la main mais vous te mettez et l'adresse académique pour tout pour être capable de supporter ti moun sa yo. Alors nous disons merci pour ça encore une fois samedi n'attend tout jeune tout monde qui gradue tout haïtien qui gradue dans la communauté a venir dans caché restaurant. Nous veut dire caché restaurant ouvert jodi à tout à dit pas vrai. Si gen famille peut-être qui chita qui pas fait manger jodi an et qui pas pendant chaleur ça pendant été qui pas faire manger est-ce qu'on service ça tout pour par exemple si on monte à faire une commande la kali pour journée dimanche nan pas s'il veut faire manger est-ce qu'on fait livraison en 10 moun nan vle feed 10 moun par exemple.
Well, definitely we're open from Wednesday through Sunday 9 p.m. Le vendredi à samedi nous ouvert but we have family packages. We have packages that serve 4 or 5 people. So if you don't want to cook on a Sunday, you can give us a call and place an order and you'll get a custom delivery. We have packages that serve 4 or 5 people, depending on what it is that you're getting. We change it. My partners Robinson and Gary, they're very dynamic when it comes to our offering and making sure that they keep everything interesting. Lately, there's been a lot of changes in the community. C'est online. So, I'm sitting and I see the package that they offer, make things available, just to bring an extra level of pleasure to that limited entertainment people have the options of. So give us a call. See what we have. You definitely can get a delivery. We deliver through Uber Eats, Grubhub, Door, and they'll do special delivery for you if necessary.
Talking of pleasure, est-ce que gen tête cabrit le vendredi, bouillon et puis est-ce que gen soujou le dimanche?
Soujou le samedi gen bouillon tête cabrit.
Bon bagay.
Et Hadley pendant là m'te vle profiter de ça et ou connaît gen moi-même l'aime parler, m toujours essayer pas utiliser un langage qui trop sophistiqué, m toujours essayer simplifier langage moins pour l'édification de communauté haïtienne et c'est pas tout le monde qui gagne qui adresse la technologie. c'est pas tout le monde qui connaît Uber Eats, vous comprenez, c'est pas, moi, me parler pour
Pour peuple là.
public plus simple là, pour être capable de comprendre. Ouais, et on bay numéro téléphone nan tout, si on t'a vle rele placer commande, pendant le rele dans téléphone, yo capable d'expliquer qui j'ai capable délivrer manger pour lui. Parce que nous quoi tout client important, que c'est ça sophistiqué, c'est ça moins sophistiqué, parce que c'est tout important. Alors, ba numéro téléphone nan, ba adresse cachée a, ba site web là, si moun vle placer son commande, qui j'en ka aller sous site là, ouais, et sous réseaux sociaux.
Numéro de téléphone, nan, 3 705 81 80. OK? Restaurant 22 Avenue in the corner of R, down Flatbush towards the Kings Plaza area. One down in Marine Park.
Alors, c'est en fastidi bank là, en fastidi bank là.
Exactly, en face. But you know, you got toujours pas monter sur une app, you got toujours relay nous. As far as the website, we do most of our stuff on Facebook and Instagram. So can I just monter sur Facebook, Cash NYC, and où est tout men, you know that.
Johnny, je vais pour ou mettre à l'aile?
Oui, alors, m'te vle fon ti rale tourner sur université yo, et wanted to get your perspective on what you think. You know, a lot of parents are right now thinking, not necessarily, I mean, I'm not going to talk about high school, because we just talked about, you know, sort of summer programs, but for parents who are thinking about colleges, what are you hearing from the school, from universities in terms of, you know, the fall, right? How is this going to play out in terms of, you know, restarting their programs? Is there any thought on that?
Well, everybody has to function within the guidelines of the government. I mean, when you're allowed to open and when you're allowed to get those classes back online is not something that's completely determined of the government. So a lot of, you know, we're talking online. You know, we're talking online. The application process is still forward, and the classes are going to be online until.
Great, great. Well, we have a couple of minutes left, and I don't know if you had any closing thoughts for us in terms of either what you heard or what we just talked about relative to the post-COVID environment, sort of the psychological component, and or the financial aspect of this. What closing thoughts do you have?
Well, I think what I do have to say is that these are incredible times. This COVID situation has, I think it has the potential to change the landscape of how we move forward in business. I mean, what have we learned from this? What have we learned? Wait, let's go over certain things. I mean, corporate America, they can send everyone home, have to work from home, and have them be just as productive, right? You know, they've learned that they can make more money online than they could make, paying rent in expensive malls. I mean, you have companies that have made more money under quarantine than they've made, out of quarantine. Companies that are quarantine and close up their stores, not financial difficulty, but because they've realized, hey, we don't need all this because we're still going to consume online. And putting people at home for 70 days, forces them to change their habits. And now people are comfortable purchasing. Before when I had to touch something before I purchased it, I didn't have any choice for the next 70 days. So of this, education is going to be even more important because that 40% of people that make less than $40,000 per year, those jobs will no longer be there.
But here's I mean, I know that this was your closing thoughts, but there's something else that crossed my mind, and that is, and I've experienced this before. I've gone to places where they don't take cash, right? They only take credit cards, and then I say to myself, I know a lot of people in our community, particularly in immigrant communities, who believe in cash, who don't have credit cards. Are we creating once again sort of this dichotomy, this paradox, right? This division between the sort of this new class of everything is done online, everything is on credit, and this other class who is essentially left out because they can't access certain things because they don't have a credit card or because they're not online. They can't use Uber Eats. They can't use, anything else like that. So that's a question that comes to mind of what happens during this transition, right? Older people, immigrant people, all kinds of people who just basically can't can't migrate as easily to doing this online or to having a credit card.
What I can say about that to a certain extent is whenever there's a void, there's always an opportunity for someone to come in and put in a solution for that void. That's what makes markets. That's what makes the economy. That's what makes capitalism. Whenever there's a void, then there's an opportunity for somebody out there to come in and put a product on the market that fills that void. Because you know it's going to progress in the direction that progress one way or the other. You understand?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it's going to progress one way or the other. It's not going to be held for a handful of people that will move forward. So I that you end up having a void in the market, and now an entrepreneur, somebody who sees it, will come up with a solution that those people will be able to take advantage of.
great. Thank
That's
you, thank you.
the past, and I feel that that's what's happening in the future. It's a difficult learning curve for them, but eventually everybody comes on board because as a whole.
Great. And Betty, we'll give you another opportunity to, in closing, to just say a couple of words, either about what we just talked about or anything else, any message that you wanna pass as we close the show.
Yes, thank you, Professor Benoit. And hearing and listening to him. I work for investment with bank. I do work from home, and it's a new basically it's us adapting to this new norm. This new norm, I know we talk about void, but for me, everything now is moving to technology ready. So this is where we have to get our youth ready to the adults because it's advancing. There's no stop at this point. And we know, as Dr. Benoit said, a lot of the companies are not going to pay that extra fee facilities. You will find that a lot of people are working from home now. So this is why we are getting our youth ready to get these jobs, and now ensuring that the youth are teaching the elderly. And now we're getting ready for our generation, and this is where ADA Youth would be a very great aspect now in this new norm.
Yeah, but
And
Betty, again,
I wanted to thank you all, Dr. Benoit. Thank you. I've been to your restaurant. Decor is very nice. Dr. Mona Lisa had us there. It's beautiful. You will definitely see us. Johnny, thank you. Mona Lisa, you are a sister. You are a motivator. You do inspire me. You help me grow even more, and by by putting me on the line, like, Betty, you got to do this and you got to do that now. I just want to take the moment to just acknowledge and say thank you to all three of you for taking your time to do this for us and highlighting us.
well, thank you for the work that you're doing. Again, I really want to highlight the importance of that work because, as Professor Benoit knows, and Dr. Mona Lisa as well, as people who are in education, we know that right after this COVID happened, our communities, the youth in our communities, did not have access to internet, to a laptop, which have become it's like not having a refrigerator
Correct.
in your home, right? And to think that we're living in a society in which having not having a refrigerator is a question, right? And it is a question for many people in our community. We have work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And I'll just close on that and say thank you both for the work that you're doing, both as a business owner, as a citizen, an engaged citizen who not only look at your business side, but also look at the role that as a business person you have to play in the society. And Betty, really, AD Youth, an important, and I hope people recognize, we make we connected the dot for people to understand how important what you're doing is for young people, whether they are young Haitian American, or young people in Haiti. It is the future. And unless and until they are engaged and understand that they need to be participating in the workforce, they need to be prepared to enter it, they need to have internships, they need to be able to use computers, all of those things that have become the basics, then we will find ourselves 20, 25 years from now with people who are left behind. And that's not what we want. And so, on that note, I'll say thank you, all of you, for the work that you're doing. Thank you for everybody who watched the show. Mona Lisa, since you opened, I will close as we always do. One of us open, one closes. On behalf of the MoJo Show, I want to say thank you to everyone. And if it's Sunday, it's the MoJo Show. So thank you and have a great rest of your day.
You guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny.
All right.